here we are on earth together. It's you and I. Sometimes I just kind of go off into song when I open up everything, and today is one of those days. Welcome to the Prosperity Project, family. Here we are. We are so ready to jump in with this, the Prosperity Project Live. Welcome. My name is Nikki Thomas. You know me from 102.9 KBLX here in the Bay Area. And by the way, if you don't know, right, and you like good throwbacks and R&B, you can listen live at any time, kblx.com, or you can just download the KBLX app. We are live on the internet. Tequila Johnson is in the building. Sis, have I told you lately that I love and appreciate you? Juanita Adams is in the building as well. And let me tell you, the Prosperity Project is all about unleashing your healthiest, wealthiest self. And today's show, man, listen, we're going to do a few things today. So number one, make sure to share the video, because I know somebody on your list could use all of this inspiration and information and breakthrough that we have for you today. Hi, Phil Dixon. I see you, my honey bun. So today we're going to talk about wellness and cultivating a holistic wellness practice. Also, we're going to talk about creating a business from your passion, because our guest has done just that. And we're going to, I don't know, a whole lot of things will probably come up, because this sister is one of the people that I stalk on the internet a little bit. She's just that amazing. Hi, Chuck Hunt from Monroe, Louisiana. I love you back, Tequila. See all this love in the room? She's somebody I stalk on the internet. Let me just stay focused. Y'all know I'm an Aquarius. I stalk her on the internet because she's got pictures of this delicious food. She's always talking about health and healing. And she seems to be one of these people that has it together. And she has a few things right in this lifetime. Hallelujah. She is an Oakland-born mama of three, a teacher, a homeschool advisor, a plant-based kitchen alchemist. Whatever that is, it feels good when I say it. A budding flower essence practitioner, a holistic wellness facilitator, and the founder of Wholistic Shine and Uchū Botanical. I hope I said that correctly. She also enjoys knitting, yoga, and basking, bathing, and breathing deep in nature. Here she is. You see, and wait, hold up. The first thing you're going to notice is that all that, and she still looks 14 years old. Please welcome Tamu Mosley.
Hi, Nikki. I'm so happy to be here.
I am so happy to have you here. You know, number one, we can just gaze upon how wonderful and lovely she is. Not just beautiful, but you're a person that actually radiates, Tamu, and we are looking forward to getting into the nuts and bolts of how you get this wonderful quality. So, you know, tell us a little bit about where this all started for you, the journey to holistic wellness. I love that, you know, you coined a phrase and that you live it. Tell us how it began for you.
Well, it's very multi-layered, but before I do that, I just want to acknowledge the people that have inspired my wellness journey over the last 25 years. I'm just going to acknowledge Sarah Sahai, Queen Afua, Lisa Marie Goodson. At the time that I started learning from her, she went by Nubia I. Also Dr. Sabi, Jabari Black Positive Allah, and also want to acknowledge my family, my parents and my grandparents who through this wellness journey have just been open to learning and receiving information and sharing in practices and food with me. My parents and my grandparents, being Southerners from Texarkana, really were open to this wellness journey that I'll share with you. So I just want to acknowledge that. I'm so grateful for that support. So was it about 25 years ago, I met my two adult children. Their father, he was a practicing had a vegan lifestyle, I should say, plant-based vegan lifestyle. And he introduced me to the vegan lifestyle, even though I had danced with vegetarianism through college. And but the lifestyle was more holistic. It involved spending a lot more time in nature. It involved what products are you using in your home and on your skin, and also what are you eating. And I decided to make the shift because he kind of laid it out in a really simple way. And I had already had already let go of meat, and dairy was the last thing that I was going to give up. And that was a hard one. But I took the dive in and really looking at my community, looking at the Black community, and the way in which there are high rates of, diabetes and heart disease and other various health conditions that can be managed, if not eradicated, by shifting the diet. So that was my main focus. It wasn't so much for animal rights, although I did have that motivation in college. This time it was really about my community, and doing something different so that, 25 years later, I can sit here, medication free and disease free. And then I started playing with veganism and shifting my eating, shifting the things that I used on my body, because, our skin is the largest sensory organ, and anything that we put on it, we're ingesting. So thinking of not just what we eat, but what we're using on our hair, on our skin, and then danced with doing various seasonal detoxes, juice cleanses, liver cleanses. And then in 2011, I was actually diagnosed and treated for carcinoma in situ of my cervix, which is stage 0 cervical cancer. And after being treated for that, which was really didn't have to go through a huge treatment process. In this case, they were able to remove the carcinoma from my cervix with a procedure, and I didn't have to follow up with any other treatments, just making sure that I stayed healthy. And with that, I was inspired by my friend Nubia I, or now Lisa Marie Goodson, to dive in on a 21-day raw food journey, which ended up being 90 days. Because, and I always think back, why did I eat raw for 90 days? Raw food, and when I say raw food, I'm talking about raw food plants, fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. And with that, it sounds somewhat limiting, but it is not. There's so much to consume within that. But really what inspired me was to bring my body back into a state of wellness, a state of being oxygen rich, a state of being more alkaline. And when your body is in that place, disease cannot thrive. I did not want these cancer cells to return. But diving into the journey, I realized there was so much letting go and things that needed to unfold through eating raw. With raw foods, your emotions get raw. The things that you need to release are able to shift, and it opens up a doorway to our higher purpose, more abundance, more prosperity when we, let some of the baggage go. So that's the gist of it.
Right. And there's so many layers in there. I want to talk a little bit about, because you shouted out Queen Afua, because this is where it began for so many of us. Yes. But really the idea or the concept for Prosperity Project really came from me watching Queen Afua recently. And she was on The Breakfast Club. Yes. And honey, I'm in here lighting sage all the time. I'm doing yoga all the time, but I still was resistant to the area of my food, what I was eating. And I did not understand that I needed to check in with my practices as far as eating to create a breakthrough in my whole life. I did not want to deal with that, because I'm number one, I'm spoiled. I'm a thin person. I've never had to do it for controlling the weight. I'm trying to keep the weight on. I got the opposite problem. So I never felt like I had to go there. But when I heard her speak about it, sometimes it only takes one sentence. I don't know what she said for the rest of the interview, but she said, if you've got, or if you need a breakthrough in your life, what are you eating? Or something like that, she said. So, talk a little bit about how this correlates directly to, because when we talk about mental blockages, when we talk about even relationship blockages, what we're attracting, how all of this ties in together, because we say it, but we forget it a lot, it seems.
Yes. Well, I just want to acknowledge Queen Afua for a moment. Yes, her book, Sacred Woman, I still reference it today. I went through her Sacred Woman training with a dear sister, Corinne, and we gathered I don't know how often we gathered, but we went through all the gateways, and then Queen Afua actually came out for our final celebration. But I've heard Queen Afua speak multiple times in person at various conferences over the last 20 years or so. And I remember her saying that if it came down to there was nothing available to eat, would she eat meat? I think someone asked her that, or something that doesn't align with her eating. And she said she would dig a hole, bury herself in the earth, and take in the nutrients of the earth through her skin. And I just go back to that every time I'm on the raw journey. I'm like, well, I can eat this. I don't have to bury myself in the earth and absorb the nutrients through my skin. But yes. So, wow. So we eat, we have to make choices throughout the day, about what to eat to sustain our energy level. But a lot of times we're not necessarily eating to sustain our energy level. We're eating to stuff an emotion down.
Yes.
We're eating to deal with stress and anxiety. We're eating to kind of suffocate the feelings and emotions that actually, things that maybe even some traumas and things that we don't want to look at and we don't want to acknowledge. So when I take people through the 21-day raw food journey, we realize that our food and the food choices we're making are directly correlated with our emotions, with our life stressors. Oh, I'm feeling stressed. I'm going to grab that. So I'm not sure if that answered your question, but I really do see the link between our food and our emotions. And when we eat, a lot of like breads and pastas and heavy foods, hard to digest foods, our body, has to work really hard. It goes into a more acidic state, which doesn't create more, an alkalinity and more wellness, creates more mucus in the body, all of which can create mental fog, low energy, poor digestion, all of which contributes to our ability to, see things with more clarity, I should say, navigate challenges with more resilience and courage.
You said a mouthful, sis.
No.
You know what? I'm trying to take notes here.
Yeah.
Like just
watch the replay, Nikki.
I got to watch my own replay to catch all this. I know somebody else caught it. You said eating to suffocate feelings.
Oh,
and I know somebody needs to take a deep breath right now, because she just hit you right there in the solar plexus chakra, or one of the chakras. Eating to suffocate feelings. And I'm going to share something, because you were talking and I wrote down body's healing process. If you're looking for it, you can feel it. You can feel what your body is telling you. And I had the experience. I went to New Orleans. This is my hometown. It's where I'm from. And New Orleans has got the most delicious food. It's not healthy. But when you go to New Orleans, it's almost like you create room in your body to eat all the food, because it's like, I need all of it. Yeah. A lot of fried food, a lot of heavy food, sauces, gravies, bread. It was awesome. But after a few days in New Orleans, my body always tells me, listen, you need some kale right now. Mm-hmm. It's a literal, nobody ever craves kale, I don't think. Well, but it's like out of nowhere, I want kale and sprouts, and I eat kale and sprouts on occasion, but it's an intense craving. My body is saying, look, slow down, girl. So when I came back home, I didn't want any soda. I didn't want anything fried. My body wouldn't let me do it. Mm-hmm. So, I'm understanding more and more about how, if, we're going to start a conversation about spirit in general. I can feel it coming. It's all of it is, you're going back to spirit and source and listening to spirit and source. Mm-hmm. Every time you move or eat or connect with someone. And I'm assuming that when you move all of the junk out of the way, you just said mucus, and you were talking about the things that will build up. And when you move those things out of the way, you can hear it and feel it a lot clearer. Is that sound?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And you will act on it, because you heard the voice that said no kale, no, I want the kale and the sprouts and leave these things out. But then the question is, do you actually act on it? Do you actually listen to what your body's asking for and say, okay, I'm committing to this? So yes, the shifts that are able to happen is you can hear it more clearly and be more inclined to act on it and stay with it. And there's moments where you may falter, but then you can go back to that. That's what I've learned over the last 25 years is this is a journey. It's not like, oh, I've got it all together. Mm-hmm. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And I say it's a journey because in 25 years, I didn't stay completely plant-based. For various reasons, I made conscious choices that I'm actually going to bring that back in to my diet. And then when it was time, I'm going to let that go again, So it's a journey, and yeah, we're all still learning along the way. And even, I know you said you're 48, I'm 48 as well. Our body's changing, and what my body wanted, 15 years ago may not work now. So I also have to be open and not on a dogmatic soapbox about what is good for me, and be open to exploring other things. And listening. Do I feel good when I eat this? And it might not be, may not feel good in 3, 5, 7 days. That's why, the 21-day detox is a jumping point, because someone, I don't know who said it, it takes 21 days to break a habit. So we give ourselves that time. I know people do 3-day juice cleanses, 5, 7 days, really to get on the surface 21 days.
Right.
It can go 30, 40, 50, 90. It can become a lifestyle. I'm not raw all the time by any means, but I would say I dive in at least 3 times a year for at least 21 days. And then I maintain various elements of raw food throughout my daily choices: a big healthy salad, a green smoothie, fresh fruit, lots of water. Yeah.
I love it. And I'm certainly not, I would certainly not call myself a wellness facilitator or anything like that. But what I do tell people is that the first thing we think about when we think about going on a cleanse, a detox, or shifting our lifestyle around these things, we think about what we can't eat. Oh my God, I can't do that. Yes. But I think the first step is really bring more stuff in, bring the nutritious stuff in. Whatever you're going to eat. Bring that salad in to at least start to balance out what's happening. Bring some green juices, green smoothies into your diet, because I know the first thing that happens is that the more you start filling up on that, the less you'll want all the crazy stuff. It'll kind of reset the taste buds and the metabolism quite a bit, so that, just like you're saying, it's a process. It's never something we hate. Stop doing this. Hard stop. And let's, open the door like the Wizard of Oz and it's Technicolor on the other side. No, it's bit by bit, and you can also feel it bit by bit too.
Yes. Well, that's exactly what I advise on the journey. Now, when we're in it, the 21-day raw, I encourage people to be 21 days raw, to be raw for 21 days. But if you want to just start incorporating things, I start a lot of times with water, getting a reusable water bottle, preferably a half gallon or more. I guess there's so many ideas about how much water we should drink, but the one I follow is half your weight in ounces of water. So if you're 120 pounds, 60 ounces of water every day, that's a little over or a little bit less than half a gallon, and filling that water bottle up and making sure you finish that or more. I know some people, their goal is to finish a gallon of water in a day. It might just be that, because that's going to curb your appetite. It's going to hydrate you. A lot of times when we think we're hungry and need something, we're actually really thirsty.
Yeah.
And also doing substitutions, like maybe you start your morning every day with coffee and a pastry. Okay, your new trial is green tea, green smoothie, and a fruit bowl with chia pudding, something like that, and substituting it. And maybe you're just substituting the morning. You don't have to change your lunch and your dinner. You don't need to clear everything out and start from scratch and say, I'm going to be the ultimate raw foodie or vegan or plant-based or whatever so many things that people
yeah.
But it's not, it doesn't have to be giving up everything. It's just starting to substitute. And like you said, and I'm sure you even see this with yoga, as you dove into your yoga practice, you see like, oh, actually, I'm opting to get on my mat or be mindful with my breath rather than going and eating this or watching this or participating in this event that doesn't necessarily nourish me and raise my vibration. And I'm sure as you dove into yoga, it became easier to let some of those things go. But it's a practice over time.
You know, the other thing I'm noticing, because we just said, you know, it's a whole life process here, and it really extends from the inside out. So, you know, so for the folks who are saying, hey, this sounds good, I don't know if I could do all this. The thing is, if you think about even just say one meal, breakfast, if you're saying, hey, we're going to do a raw breakfast, okay, you don't have to cook. Number two, it's something you can involve your kids in. Hey, baby, this one over here, you're going to chop these things up and we're going to get together and make a great breakfast. So you're really solving some things and elevating quite a few things in your life when you make one shift. You know, we think that everything has to change at once, but one shift is going to have a ripple effect.
Yes.
You know, so, and it doesn't even matter what area of your life we're talking about. You know, if that's empowering your kids, it's doing so many things that it multiplies by the hundreds if you just make one choice.
Yes.
One. So, and I know for me, I love, you know, I thought you were talking to me directly when you said, hey, the coffee and pastry. I was like, wait a minute, is she? But for me, I know that I like to, you know, I get up and have it's an almond milk latte, by the way, if anybody's wondering. But I like to have my coffee. But I appreciate not having to cook a whole breakfast. So if there's something raw there that maybe I can prepare, or if it's something I can just grab and arrange it nicely in my bowl and keep going with my morning ritual, it saves me time. It saves a lot of time. It saves the thinking, because I only have so many thoughts to think in a day. After a certain time, they're done. So it's very helpful. It's not something that's going to deprive you. It's something that's going to enrich you quite a bit in ways that you have not thought about yet. So,
I was going to say, some people don't have time in the morning. Their mornings are really rushed. I personally actually give myself 2 hours before I need to leave the house to get up and have my tea and make my smoothie and put my things together for the day. But not everybody does it like that. Some people roll out of bed and are rushing out the door. So maybe you prepare that the night before, you know, and you have it ready so that you can grab it in the morning. Maybe the evening time is your time where you feel like you have more energy or focus for those types of things to prepare for the next day.
Yeah, I love it. And we'll talk about it in a few more minutes as far as the joy of your ritual. It's supposed to be something that you love and enjoy. And it sounds very similar. I know for me, before I get started thinking about the work and all the other stuff, I want at least 2 hours to just be in my space, to experience out before anybody wakes up, before the sun comes up. I was like, I really feel like an old person now because I'm up with the chickens, but it's a joyous time for me. I'm not trading it for anybody else or anything else. It's me and, you know, my almond milk latte and, you know, my spiritual readings, maybe my cats, because they're quiet. It's very joyful and it brings joy to me, you know. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, but let's talk a bit about the Wholistic Shine 21-day live food detox. So, you know, even for the folks who, when I said the word detox in the post here, they were like, yeah. Even for those folks, I think we've been talking for almost 30 minutes here. I think they're softening up quite a bit because, you know, they see your radiance and your smile, and we're talking about all the joy that comes with making these decisions. Tell us about this program. And I see you've been doing this for a few years now.
Yeah, it's actually been, so like I shared in 2011, I did my first, I had done previous cleanses, juice cleanses and liver cleansing and things like that. but this time it was specifically 100% raw food. And the goal was 21 days. And like I said, I ended up going 90 days. So there were some roadblocks right after that 90 days. My older children's father, who actually brought me into the vegan lifestyle, made his transition at 39 years old of a massive heart attack. Wow. And he was the one who brought it to me and inspired me. And his cultivation of that lifestyle did fall off due to just busy life, a lot of life responsibilities, caring for his children, his work roles shifted, and just not time to tend to himself. So he passed away, I mean, literally within a day or two of me closing the door of this 90-day cleanse, where I was like ready to offer, actually make these offerings to my community and on a larger scale. And then I just had to go right back in, take care of my children, eat what people brought us, stews and lasagnas and all these things. And it took me breaking my foot like 4 months later to sit down on the couch and just really mourn, and also reactivate this practice of my daily green smoothies. I literally remember jumping into my kitchen with this cast on my foot to make a green smoothie. And I was like, oh, here it is again. But I deviated for a few months. And then a couple years later, I started putting together a guide because I wanted to invite my community to go on the journey with me. I was at that point, I had decided I was going to doing the raw detox on the fall and the spring. And so I just opened it up, posted on Facebook, hey, I'm doing my 21-day raw detox. I have a guide that I wrote. Do you want to join me? And we ended up doing that. And the guide has grown and evolved because with every detox, this was about 7 years ago, with every detox, I get feedback. So I add another page to cover, emotional eating and kind of why we the things, the cravings that are connected to the emotions that are connected to foods we crave. For example, someone suggested, can we learn more about that? So that became a page in the guide. And so when people join, they get the guide, which includes kind of a layout on the daily regimen. It has recipes. It also includes things to incorporate into a holistic detox, because it's not just the food. It's mindful breathing. It's proper hydration. It's getting in nature. It's saunas and yoga and Epsom salt baths and some form of exercise. Although you may not have the energy for a super intense gym workout through the 21 days because you are releasing. Energy can be high or low. And we also are in community with each other. We used to gather in my kitchen, as Queen Afua calls it, the kitchen healing laboratory. So we would gather there and we would meet every week, and I would do a raw food demo and we would share how our week was, and we would set our intentions for the week to come. Now, with us sheltering in 2020, I offered the fall cleanse, but we did it virtually. So that was our first virtual detox. And then we did it again in the spring. And it was a little question like, will it work virtually? Because it's so amazing to gather together. But it was so amazing, so beautiful to have this community to check in every week, to have the demos, to have the accountability to each other. So during the week, we stay connected through having a group on WhatsApp. and we can share pictures and challenges and triumphant things that we're proud of. And so, yeah, that's the journey. And I will say it always starts out with this hyper obsession about what am I going to eat every day?
Right.
What am I going to eat? How am I going to prepare this? How am I really actually, it ends up telling on yourself how much time are you willing to put in, because it does take time, and you're rinsing and washing kale and cutting things up and prepping and massaging, and because it's living food, it is somewhat, perishable. The kale salad's not going to look the same that it did today, tomorrow. So if you want it fresh, so it requires a different type of time and energy. And then we also just really dive into the emotional part, with the not consuming things to stuff our emotions. Our emotions and things we've been holding have a chance to come to the surface, and we get to look at these things. We get to explore our self-care practices. Maybe we're a busy working single mama, and realizing that we don't make a lot of time for ourselves.
Right.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of beautiful revelations, and the food kind of takes a side note around that. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And just the courage. I'm always so proud of anyone that's willing to step into this journey, because it's really hard to make a shift and be willing to hold yourself accountable for something that might feel a little bit uncomfortable. But when people see the 21 days through, maybe with a few missteps,
right,
and challenges, because they do happen, and I don't beat anybody up for it. It happens. It's life. But there's something beautiful about being amazed at our own ability to meet this and do it. Because I do have a lot of people coming in saying, I don't think there's any way I could do that. And they surprise themselves.
Yeah.
I surprise myself every time, because I'm right there on the journey with everyone. I'm starting typically start the 21 days with everyone. I usually go longer. Some people choose to do that after 21 days, but yeah, we're all on the journey together, and life continues to happen. Our kids, our work life, challenges with relations, still happens all in the midst of that. We're not shutting it all out, but we're figuring out different ways to work through it.
I love this. I love it. And I want to point that out. You're not doing it by yourself. That's the great thing. I think, that's one of the programmings that we get, that we're always alone, that nobody's going to help, that you have to do it under just what you have in your head right now. And that is never the case in your whole life. That is never the case. Mm-hmm. When we first started this conversation, you immediately shouted out the people that brought this way of being to you. And I thought that was so important, is because the consciousness came to you in pieces and glimpses and connections that you had with other people. So, when you say yes to something like this, you're watching this for a reason. Somebody shared it with you. You might be watching the replay. It's for a reason, that something inside of you is wanting this, or this might be the answer to something that you asked for. So cleansing, deep nourishment, and upgrade in mind, body, and spirit. That is like one of the most powerful sentences you can read. It's an upgrade in everything, and everything you do multiplies upon itself. So when is the next one happening, and how can we be down, Tamu?
So the next one will be happening in the fall. I always I typically, because things can change, but I typically start a week before the fall equinox, which is on September 22nd. So our first session will be on September 11th. We will meet for 2 hours via Zoom, and I will share the detox guide, I will share a couple demos, and then we will start the following day. Some people want to jump right in on the following day or take one day to continue to gather their resources, and then start the next day. And then we meet every week after that. And if you want more information, you can go to my website, holisticshine.com. And if you go to the services page, then there's information about the 21-day detox. There's a link to the Eventbrite to register. If you get on and you decide, I don't want to pay the extra $8 Eventbrite fee. Some people don't want to do it. When those extra fees pop up, you can always send me a message and say, hey, I want to Venmo you. And then you'll get to sign up through Eventbrite on the little free spot. So yeah.
I love it. Okay. Because it's happening a little ways from now. But what I like to do when I say, hey, I'm going to commit, my brain might be somewhere else. I like to say yes right now. So I would encourage everyone watching this, hey, if this is something you want to do, and yeah, between now and then your feelings might go in all these different places. So commit now. Yeah. Don't wait. Don't wait until right before. Go ahead and commit now. And then you'll just have to regroup. You're not going to be by yourself. You're going to be in a tribe of people that want you to succeed. What I always tell people is that if you have a goal, you need a tribe for each goal in your life. Oh. And it's great to step into a circle of people that you don't already know. All kind of new thoughts and all kind of great new things are waiting for you in that circle of people that you don't quite know. It's like, oh, I know her from Facebook, but oh, dang, that is a smart sister. She's got this business. So it will explode and multiply your life when this circle of people comes together with the same goal. It is extremely powerful.
Very powerful. And yes. Oh, I can't tell you how many messages I get of apprehension and like, what did I sign up for after they've signed up? And yeah, it's just oh, there's so many sayings and I don't know them right now, but just stepping beyond your comfort zone. It's just, that's where the growth happens, is moving beyond our comfort zone. So
right. And that should be a good clue if you're a little bit uncomfortable. And you know, that I could share that as a career/radio trick. Listen, get comfortable with the fact that you're not always going to feel cushy. Learn how to jump right before you're ready. That's your sweet spot right there. Yeah. If you can jump right before you feel ready. Because didn't we just say this? We eat to suffocate our feelings and emotions. So you certainly can't trust emotions that you're trying to stuff down in there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, those are the emotions that are trying to keep you in the current state of being. And the uncomfortable emotions are the ones that are trying to bring you into a new space.
Yes.
So, I mean, this is so powerful. I love that in our community here in the Bay Area, we have you. And, we've got a few sisters who are, giving us this great knowledge. But, I'm glad you stepped into your lane and your purpose with this. And, it's really a whole separate show. We could talk about the passion that you have and the desire that you have and how you can serve and how you can make a business and sustain yourself.
Yes.
With these things. So, number one, just follow. All the links are listed in the post there. You can follow and go, just do it. Just click and say yes to the 21-day detox. I didn't say it was going to feel good, but just go for it. This is what your body and mind and spirit are calling for. So, I'm looking at a list here. The benefits of a holistic detox may include, but not limited to, reducing stress. Everybody's stressed out right now. Manage weight, increase energy, improve digestion, eliminate toxins, reduce inflammation in the body. Promote more restful sleep, give clarity of mind, increase sense of well-being, awaken you to your greater potential. If you don't connect with any of them, that one right there, awaken you to your greater potential. And being able to listen. I also saw something that you posted recently about how messages came to you while you were doing your yoga practice.
Oh, all the time.
All the time. You listen. I'm nowhere near the level of this sister here, but I can relate to that one. It's like, if you don't do it for any other reason, honey, get on that mat and get ready. I have to put a notebook next to my yoga mat.
Yeah.
I do yoga. I'll put my notebook there and my pen, because like a good idea is going to come before I can even finish this. So it's something where if you've requested your life to upgrade itself, this is step one. And this is why I saw, because I, kind of came up with this idea for this show, this space. And I was like, who are the game changers that I know that can help people create breakthroughs in their lives? And, I asked, and you popped up on my screen one day. Don't I have the sister's number in my phone? Let me call. Get her on.
I know. I don't remember what year it was, but I remember you were doing yoga at the Hub.
Yes.
I came and did green smoothie demo. Didn't I come another time?
Yeah, I know you did the green smoothie facial too.
Yes,
you did the facial. So fam, listen, when you say lifestyle change, and that's the word that I thought of when I think of Tamu. Life, she lives this lifestyle. Does she look deprived to you? Does she look, I mean, everybody's got a little stress. Does she look like things are going crazy in her life and she can't get
Nikki, I'm not even going to speak on the crazy that's happening right now, but I would say that these practices that I have cultivated over 25 years keep me grounded, keep me rooted, bring me back to myself, bring me into my body, bring me into my heart. But the challenges are there. They are so real. There are, the one that I spoke of recently on my Instagram live was around my getting a biopsy on my breast, and after getting my first mammogram. And the other one I won't speak of because I just want to honor that, but it has been extremely and continues to be a really big challenge. And but I'm so grateful for these practices that have become part of my daily routine. They weren't always that way, and so they do support me when the challenges arise, for sure, because my life is not laid out with rose petals, paved with gold all the time. It is really, things come and they just test my resiliency for sure.
I love that you put that out there. Life is always happening.
Yes.
And having a practice, I'm glad the word practice is there on the screen, how to cultivate. So when you say cultivate, that means to create and nourish that thing. And with your plants or whatever else, you have to give it some love and attention every day for it to grow. And it still goes through cycles. It's time to bloom, and then it's so it's amazing that things come to us at just the right time.
Yes.
And there's always answers. So let's jump into our top 3 here. So this has become, a part of the ritual of the Prosperity Project, that we shared 3 tips or shifts with people. So when it comes to cultivating a holistic wellness practice, let's go through your top 3 ways to shift into this new lifestyle. So let it be joyful. Okay, now if you've been watching the Prosperity Project, this is a concept that we're really pushing for everybody to allow or let. Talk a little bit about joy.
Yeah. I mean, it's because it comes to me, we all want, someone to hand us the handbook of how to cultivate our wellness practice. And, or I'm going to do it like her or him or them. But really we need to find what brings us joy and find what we enjoy. If we don't enjoy it, now there might be parts and pieces you might be like, I really don't want to get on my mat today. But you know ultimately that it really does bring you a sense of joy. But that yoga practice might not be for everyone.
Yeah.
It might be dance. It might be being in a dance class. It might be finding your favorite playlist and having your in your room alone with your headphones. It might be getting outside in nature, walking, amongst the redwood trees. It might be going to the ocean. It might be finding a hike, having a weekly hike with a certain group of people. So it has to fill you in a certain way. And then you're more likely to repeat it. I repeat it. Make smoothies that taste good. Not only should they taste good. This is my art. I used to teach art to children, and we would mix up, color theory. I would teach color theory, and we would mix up all the different shades of green. Now, if you mix purple with red, with some green, you're going to get a brown smoothie. Brown is beautiful, but not in a smoothie. I want my smoothie bright green. I want it bright purple. I want it to be beautiful. It's going to taste beautiful. So yeah, it should bring you joy. You're going to keep growing that practice if it brings you joy.
Let me just drop this in here. I think, again, programming, we think of wellness, of course we think of you, Tamu, we think of Erykah Badu, we think of Queen Afua, but it doesn't always look like that. It looks like you is what it looks like. And let me just remind everybody, there's trap yoga, there's twerking, there's pole dance, anything that makes you feel joyful to move your body.
Yes.
There's some shame around things that there shouldn't be shame around. The twerking, honey, is that the second chakra? One of those chakras will get a good workout with a good twerk. And don't let anybody tell you anything's different.
Yes.
So I explained that to a friend of mine. It's like, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not. Moving your body really comes first. Yes. People try to jump into meditation, but the movement actually comes first, family.
Yes.
So let it be joyful is something that we should be looking for in the practice. We're looking for the joy, and the joy will keep us going. If you love to dance, honey, get up. Whatever music it is, turn it on and move, and let that lead you to whatever the next step is. Woo, hallelujah. So I just want to make sure to put it out there that it's not a box. I'm not trying to put you into another box.
No.
It's another space that you create that looks and feels joyful to you. All right. So make it mindful. So I know we're going to talk about breathing or something here.
Yeah. I mean, I a lot of times I focus a lot on the food in terms of, that's what people associate me with is the food, but there are actually multiple steps before we even talk about nourishment to be mindful and start to cultivate. So even if you don't change your diet right away, although I'm highly recommending that, there are other things that you can do. And I just want to acknowledge where this was seated. I was reading a book by Elena Avila. It's called The Woman Who Glows in the Dark. She was a psychiatric nurse who decided to go and dive deeper into her ancestral roots. And that took her to Mexico to learn with healers. And she ended up building a healing practice as a curandera, or a healer. And she shares this Aztec wisdom that lays out percentages of to be in balance with the universe really, and to also, because we are a mini universe, to be in balance with ourself. And one of the things that she mentions in the book as the top thing, actually, it breaks down percentages into 100%. The top one was breath. Are we breathing mindfully? Are we taking deep breaths through our nose, really? One of my yoga teachers just offered that she was reading a book about breath, and that people are not breathing through their nose. They're not taking in deep, mindful breaths, that they're breathing through their mouth. And it's actually creating all sorts of compromises to our organs. And so mindful breathing, and that could be through a meditation practice. That can be through walking. I prefer to walk in nature, and kind of sinking in with the release of oxygen from the trees and breathing mindfully there, breathing mindfully with a yoga practice. I know in our yoga teacher training, it was always marry your breath with your movement. So yoga supports the mindful breathing and other, yoga or other breathing exercises, but just breathing more mindfully, being aware of your breath. When you're stressed, your breath is more labored. Slowing that down instantly calms you, instantly reduces stress, anxiety. And also we detox through mindful breathing. So that's the one part. The other one is hydration. Or no, actually the second one is rest. Are you getting enough sleep or rest, naps? I know there's a movement, the nap ministry. Naps are key to our vitality. I am not one to nap very often, to be honest with you. I have to really work hard to give myself permission to stop and take a nap, because I'm likely to fill it with my time with something that I need to take care of instead of taking a nap when I know my body really just wants a nap. But even if you're not napping, are you going to bed at a reasonable time? And are you able to wake up at a reasonable time? Some people don't sleep. They burn the midnight oil and then they get up really early and they just push, push, push. So rest, breath, rest, and then hydration. Are you drinking enough water? And if you're eating a plant-based raw food daily, you're actually getting water through your food. A peach, watermelon, celery, cucumber, they all actually contain their perfect little package for the most amazing alkaline water that we could ask for. So I know some people that consume, I would completely raw food, actually say that they don't really drink a lot of water. They get the water from their food, or they're drinking, opening fresh coconuts and drinking perfectly alkaline water, because, as we know, there's varying degrees of healthy water, So breath, rest, hydration, and then the food piece, the nutrition, healthy nutrition, making healthy, nutritious choices. But the top of the list is that it's actually 52% to help create balance is our breath, and then rest, and then I think 9% is actually the nutrition part. So even shifting your water intake, your rest, and mindful breathing can have a dramatic impact on your overall well-being.
I love the story that you shared, the woman who wrote the book. Can you say the name of it again?
It's called The Woman Who Glows in the Dark.
That's an amazing story. I had, a little wetness in the corners of my eyes when you were talking about it. The ancestors always have messages for you. And we think about us speaking the English language to each other. There's so many different ways that you can receive messages that don't have any words. Sometimes it's just a knowing or a feeling or a glimmer or a glitch or something that says turn left instead of turning right. You're always receiving information. So, when you're sitting in your space after we finish our conversation today, all of these little things will kind of sort of create a message for you. And it's important to understand that just what we see with our eyes, just the things that we can perceive with our human bodies, is not all that's there. And I say that in a very logical fashion. I'm an Aquarius. It's like I want the logic and I want the woo-woo too. Like that is very logical to me, that you can't see and perceive everything that's actually there.
Yes.
So I just wanted to throw that out there, because anytime we start talking about the ancestors, it's like, honey, I know for certain, loud and clear, that mine, it's almost like they're right here. It's like behind the other side of the glass, they're right there. And I've always just very literally felt that. So thank you for sharing that. I'm going to go look for that and check it out. Mm-hmm. Okay. So our third is take it slow. And we touched on it a little bit earlier. It's like, yes. I read somewhere that the key to creating change is this: if you could talk yourself into one little bitty thing, yes. Again, it multiplies. It has a domino or a snowball effect. So take it slow. Talk a little bit about this one.
Yeah, it has just become my mantra. Slow and steady wins the race. And that is in so many areas of my life. I kind of came here somewhat impatient. I want things to happen now. I want to call in my soulmate now. I want that, like that check in the mail. Why isn't it here yet? You know? But being patient with yourself, most importantly, being in the divine timing of things and taking it slow. I know people come and they just say, you know, I want to be like you, you know, or I want to that. And it took me 25 years to get to this seat now. And I am still learning and still growing and still evolving and still making changes in my kitchen, healing laboratory, and still fine-tuning my wellness practice. So take it slow, like we talked about earlier, bringing in one shift, one change, which will allow space for new things, new practices to come in. It will, it just, as you start to shift and change your tolerance for the various toxic things, whether it's toxic food, people, media, conversation, will start to shift, and you will fill that with something that's nourishing you. So slow and steady. I always say slow and steady. I've seen it unfold in my own life time and time again. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And back to what we were just talking about, just because it feels like it's happening slowly does not mean that things are not changing. Things are always changing on the cellular level. If you start speaking new thoughts, you know, if you say yes to a situation such as the Wholistic Shine 21-day live food detox, you're already making a change. You're already making a change. You know, when you take a sip of water, you're creating change in your body. You might not see any of this for a minute. That doesn't mean it's not there. And let me just circle back, because like as an example, I do spiritual readings for people. I'm like, well, can you see the future? Can you tell what's going to happen? I was like, no. What I'm going to tell you is what the current situation is. And there are plenty of current things happening that you just can't see. If you're about to get a promotion, that promotion has been in the works for a minute before you ever knew. They might be ready to tell you 5 minutes from now. That means it was there when you were asking about it. You just didn't know.
Yes.
So, you know, changing your perception, if we could put everything in a nutshell from our kind, changing your perception about things will open up so much new space. So, you know, hopefully you have a new perception of what it means to do a live food detox, or to join in a circle or a community, or to cultivate a holistic wellness practice. It doesn't mean what you think it means. We have to unlearn so much programming as grown folks, but hey, it can be done. And if you want to jump into the work, there's a lot of joy in it. Yes. Should we go back to number 1? Because we did say that already. So yeah, anything else you wanted to share with us before we wrapped up today? This has been so amazing, and just the conversation has been very nourishing spiritually and everything else.
I had a thought, but I'm so curious about your readings now, Nikki. I don't ever see you talk about that. So, but I was going to share, I did do a reading some years back, and the woman she was really tapping into me focusing on nourishing myself. There were all these things I wanted to call in. And her thing was keep doing you, nourishing you, taking care of you, healing yourself, and those other things will fall into place. And I remember in one of the reading, I still have this image. She was like, over here on your right shoulder, there's this stag like in the wings. And part of the reading was, like, when is my guy going to show up? And so there's this stag in the wings, and she can see him, and he's there, and he's there. He's already there, but he's not going to step forth yet. Like, you need to keep doing your work, and he'll emerge when the time is right. And he did, but it took years.
Girl,
it took years. And this might be a whole nother conversation, being celibate, not getting involved, only cultivating friendships with men, which was something that I wasn't used to. It took like four years of cultivating friendships with men, being celibate, and working on myself, clearing things out, getting very clear to bring this being into my life. So
I just start the intro over, and we should just start over and do Prosperity Project Part 2. Stop. Okay, because that's where I am right now. Literally. I know you asked about the readings, but literally, it's almost like it's the formula that's been made very clear to me. Cultivating friendships.
Yes.
And I've been celibate for 3 years. I know we didn't come here to talk about that today. I've been celibate for 3 years, and I did not set out to be celibate. It was just like, if I don't have a particular reason why I'm going to go there with somebody, let's just leave it alone. And that's me. Strong friendships with men, where I had to learn how to love a whole person before I put that romantic icing on top. And the man hasn't showed up for me as far as I know. But just like we were saying a second ago, and back to the readings, your life is unfolding every second with every breath. Every breath counts. Every new thought counts. And again, like, say, if you're sitting in this spot, I can see this corner of the room. I can see that corner. I can see out the window. But if I were to float up and I looked, I could see a mile radius here in Oakland. That's just where I'm sitting. So for me, and it's all a process. When I read someone's energy, I have to understand that, Nikki, it's not a thinking, it's not a guessing, don't second guess the feelings and the things that you see and experience when I'm, talking or reading the cards for them. Don't block any of it. Okay, so I see this. I see things in every reading that I've never seen. In this card, I might pull a card for you, and I'll see it totally different than what I see for somebody else. So it's just not blocking your intuition. I firmly believe everybody has it. It's just that we're not taught to trust it.
Yes.
So don't put anything in. Let me think about. No, don't think about anything. Oh, wow. I see a lot of these things happening. So that's really all it is. And when we talk about cultivating a practice, the practice allows you to get the crap out of the way so you can see what's there. So I appreciate you sharing so much of your story with us. And again, girl, I even if I don't comment or press like, I'm reading. I see the beautiful story about you and your guy, and all your trips and how beautiful everything is. And, you know, we understand that life and challenges are coming up, but it's like you're absolutely cultivating and practicing what you preach. And I see the joy coming through. And thank you for posting the most delicious food I've ever seen. I'm like, if this is a detox, sign me up today because it looks wonderful.
Only I won't be making it for you. That's the hard part for people to swallow. I'm not making the food for you, but I will teach you how to do it and make it your own, because it's really about making it our own. And
okay, well, we want to know how to make the food and make it look like it looks in the picture, because I just get my whole life just looking at the beautiful pictures of the beautiful food. So, you know, this has definitely been a very nourishing, powerful upgrade on everything. And it feels freer and easier for us to say yes to experiences like the Wholistic Shine, you know, life food detox. And it's like, now I can do that. I can do it. I'm going to be supported. I'm going to be encouraged and loved through the whole thing. And I'm going to experience breakthroughs that I don't even see yet. Listen, that's a yes for me. That's a yes for me.
I got it. Spirit will not let me leave this without mentioning it. So I follow this galactic calendar, and we just left. It's inspired by the Mayan calendar. We just left the blue storm year that ended on July 24th, and the new year began on Monday. So a few days ago on July 26th, and it's the yellow electric seed year, which is the yes year, YES, yellow electric seed. I had to say it because you kept saying yes. And I'm like, yellow electric seed, yellow electric seed. It's the year of the yes. Of course, being mindful of what we say yes to, but yes, nonetheless.
Girl, you're going to get out of my head today, Tamu. The word yes, I've been writing it in my journal every morning. Yes.
Oh, wow.
And yes, supply. There's a young woman who has a company called Yes Supply.
Oh,
like, what if everything I needed, the answer was yes. And so and again, this prosperity project is an anchor for me. This is, you know, it's a spiritual undertaking, because it's like, I know where, when, what, how, and I can bring it all back to this space, and it multiplies and comes back to me. So I love that you see what's happening here. Like we're listening. Okay, listen, I have to say this. Wait, hold up a second. Let's go back to this. So this is all we're talking about with this whole lifestyle thing. It's just, you're not questioning your superpowers and your gifts in every moment. So, see, this is more than I bargained for, Tamu. It's more than I thought was going to happen. I was like, we'll probably be done about 30 minutes. It's like an hour, 15 minutes. I could talk for another hour. And definitely, fam, if you're watching this, I'm going to jump into this next detox. Come with me. Come with me. It's almost as if you looked at the rest of the year and you're intentionally setting it in place. This is it here. Okay, I know September, I'm going to be on this journey. And
check the dates. There's one day that's not happening on a Saturday, and ideally you are present for all 4 of them, because it really supports yourself and the continuity of the group. So check all the information. And then if you still have questions, I try to keep it clear and concise. Please email me. Please message me through Facebook or Instagram. I do answer those messages, or my email, holisticshine@gmail. It's on my website. So please reach out, because I'm happy to answer questions that you might have.
Okay, let's take a deep breath together, everybody. Let's just take a deep breath.
Yeah.
This feels so good, and the joy is here. And when you find the joy, you absolutely want to keep going. Click the links above, follow Tamu, and we will see you next week. I'm gathering like all the details for our next show. So just keep your eye on Nikki Thomas TV, and we'll see you next week, 11 a.m. for the Prosperity Project Live. Thank you so much, Tamu. I've got avocados in my kitchen, and I think I'm going to go have one to just seal the deal right now.
Thank you, Nikki, for having me. And I'm glad, I always say, I'm glad I said yes, because I think when you reached out, I was kind of in the midst of
I
some,
know,
but I was like, I need to do that. You know, when the call comes, just say yes. No, I don't know how the conversation will unfold, but yes. So thank you for inviting me. And I feel so blessed to share today.
Yeah, I feel totally shifted and like lighter and so ready for whatever is next.
Yeah.
Prosperity Project. Have a great rest of your day, family. See you next